recently, the Government Accountability Office has raised some question marks on the White House's executive order based on the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, ordering the Department of Defense through a process of acquisition of firearms in order to make the streets safe. Now, we did a video on that and what they're essentially doing. We're going to talk about at the end why that is. But thank goodness for really something that started back in the 70s. Back in the 70s, there was a policy placed on the Department of Defense essentially saying that you have to really kind of define the mission if you're going to acquire weapons. Any weapon system, any sort of weapons that you're going to acquire, you need to define, well, what are you going to use this weapon for? And in 1981, that was completely overhauled. This process referred to as the Department of Defense A-109 acquisition of firearms. And this policy spells out clearly that you can't just go acquire firearms. You have to define what the mission is. So they're going to have to define why they're buying up all these civilian weapons. Well, a lot of it, has already been defined. One, it takes the weapons that the military would say would come in handy for them off of the civilian market. In addition to that, it enforces their financial hand, because obviously the manufacturers of these particular guns, they would just love a government contract. And as we've seen with what Colt did over the last decade, is when the government gives you a strong enough contract, well, you just only make for the government. You quit making those particular guns for civilians. We've already seen manufacturers do this. And of course, we'll see it again. So it acquires all of those guns, but in addition to that, when they're the ones paying them millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, if not hundreds of billions of dollars, and they say, well, hey, we want you to start putting in smart technologies, and we want you to start putting in micro stamping. Otherwise, you don't get a contract next year. Well, of course, that's going to force these manufacturers to put in the technologies that the government would like to see in there, even though it may not be anything within the law. They influence it through their government contracts, their acquisition of firearms. So there you go. Unless this is defined, it is illegal. Unless they say we're acquiring these particular firearms for this mission, what they're doing is illegal. And the mission is, they need to define the mission. They need to say, well, it's to suppress the civilian market. It's to enforce technologies into the civilian market. That's what the mission is. And unless that's defined specifically through the Department of Defense, what they're doing is illegal. I want to take a moment in this video and of course thank ES Power Sport for not only supporting this channel but supporting my health and giving me the ability to put down some Trinidad scorpion peppers in a delicious drink and still reap the benefits of it. That link is below. Any thoughts or insight on this, definitely put this below. If you like this video, click like and subscribe. Feel called to support this channel with Patreon, that link is also below. But the most important part of this channel, we take prayer requests, so never hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.